Thanks for coming this morning. We're excited to have you. Reminder, this event is being put on by the Giraffe Conservation Foundation in Alimelia. We're happy to have you here. I'm Luciana Faulhaber, and I'm going to be moderating the day today. We know it's early, 10 a.m. We have 82 people joining so far. We're so excited that you woke up early and having your coffee with us and learning a little bit more about these amazing animals and how we can make sure that they're still part of this world as we live through these days. A reminder, if you have a question, please make sure to type the question on your comment section. We're going to be compiling them for our Q&A at the end. So please make sure that you ask your questions, and we're also going to be sharing the microphone if you have questions that you might be able to ask them directly. But just in case, make sure that they are posted on the comment section. Also, at the beginning of every talk and every panel, we're going to have the link for donations. If you can, please be generous. We're trying to save these animals. We're happy to have you here. And you can follow that link. We're also going to be emailing this link later at the end of this day so that you can maybe at a later date continue to support this amazing cause. The first person we have with us today who's going to be talking is Steph. Steph is amazing. She is the co-director and co-founder of the Giraffe Conservation Foundation and coordinates the GCF's day-to-day businesses, including liaison with conservation partners and donors throughout the world. So that's not an easy job. With an MSc in environmental engineering, she is a skilled and experienced environmental manager who has successfully worked in diverse working cultures in multidisciplinary teams within the private, government, and NGO sector of 3 countries and continents, Africa, Australia, and Europe. In this session, you'll find out more about giraffes, discuss why we should care about these gentle giants and beautiful creatures, and what's the real threats to their future, and what can be done to make a difference. So again, thanks for coming. We are now at 136 attendees. Thanks for being here. Steph, I'll give you the floor.
Thanks, Luciana, and you look absolutely amazing. I feel a bit underdressed here, so I think we'll wing it by talking about giraffes. So yeah, first of all, welcome to everyone. It's really exciting. This is our first online event, and yeah, Luciana told you who I am. I saw quickly had this quiz before. I saw some familiar names, so it's great to see some of you here online who I've emailed with or met in person before. But yeah, first of all, I want to thank our presenting partners, Animalia, and particularly James and Annalise, who have helped us set up this event, and then Luciana for emceeing. So thank you very much. And yeah, let's get started. So I'm based in, bit too quick, James, just the last photo, please. So yeah, I'm sitting here in Windhoek, the capital of Namibia, not Nambia. And James is running the presentation from California. So I hope we can make this work, but please bear with us if we sometimes jump back and forth a little bit with the slides. Unfortunately, our internet here is a little bit challenging at the moment. So as part of our job, most of us from the GCF team normally travel around the world and meet with you guys and other giraffe enthusiasts to talk about giraffe and share information about the plight of giraffe. But obviously that has become quite challenging in the last 12 months. So this is when the idea came up to try something new. And this is what we are doing now. Next slide, please. But I can assure you that we are still working hard to save giraffe. Our team has been amazing in these challenging times, and we had to adapt. We found new ways of saving giraffe, even in this new reality without the ability to travel for long times. We could only work in the countries where we were based in, but most of our team is based in Africa. So we are still busy saving giraffes, so don't worry about that. But before I sound like a proud mum, and let me not digress here, we are here to talk about giraffe. But when I say that, giraffe conservation is a family effort for us. So here's a photo of my family. Some of you might know them. There's Julian, my husband, and our amazing kids, Luca and Molly, who probably have seen more giraffes in their life than they wanted to. Julian has a PhD in giraffe. He is one of the world's experts in giraffe conservation, and I'm married into it. But in the last few years, I have picked up a few things myself. So for over 10 years, we have been doing giraffe conservation in our spare time while holding up proper jobs, earning money, and did it, in the evenings. Julian is an Australian with a background in land management and ecology. I'm German and I'm an engineer. So what a great team to run a conservation organization. Next slide, please. But GCF has grown in the last few years from a couch-run organization to a proper organization with a passionate and very capable small team. We are now 19 people based in 6 different countries, and interestingly, we represent 11 different nationalities. So quite a motley crew, quite a mix, but together we really make a difference, and it's a really fun work environment to work with. So this is my giraffe family. Next slide. And I have to admit, we are spreading ourselves rather thin at times. We currently work in 16 African countries. Here, just a little map to give you a rough idea about it. But we still think of ourselves as a small organization. We don't have massive administrative overheads, but we have quite a big impact. So you'll hear a little bit more about some of our projects on the ground while we talk. Next slide. But in the end, we realized that conservation really is about people. And GCF is a networking organization. We don't plan to do everything ourselves. We don't want to do everything ourselves. We aim to bring people together and to help others, to empower Africans to save giraffe in Africa. Next slide. But back to giraffe. Giraffe are probably the most iconic animals in the world. I'm sure most of you will agree, and everybody loves giraffe. Giraffe are actually in trouble, and their numbers have been declining by almost 30% over the last 3 decades. They have lost almost 90% of their habitat in the last 300 years, and hardly anyone knows. Everyone knows that elephants are in trouble and need our help, but did you know that there is 1 giraffe for every 4 elephants? But there's also a lot of positive signs. There's a lot of work being done now in different countries by our partners and us, and together we are really making a difference. So we are seeing some really positive stories, and we really like sharing these as well. Next slide. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that giraffes are quite out of the woods yet. They really need our help, and some species are really in trouble. So why is this? Why exactly are giraffes in trouble? The bottom line is the problem are we, people. Next slide. There are simply more and more people who need more and more space to live and produce food, and there's less space for all wildlife, including giraffe. Next slide. Existing habitat is cut up or fragmented by settlements, infrastructure, like here a train line, roads. Next slide. And in some areas, poaching or illegal hunting is a real problem. And let me not start talking about climate change and other issues like civil war and civil unrest. So this silent extinction has been going on before our eyes for many years, and the world has been largely unaware. So it's really great to see all of you online and to see this growing interest in giraffe conservation. Next slide. And this is when the technology fails. There was supposed to be a sound now, a roaring sound, but never mind. We'll try to put that online later, maybe if that's possible. So, because what I wanted to say is that, did you know that giraffe actually can make sounds? Many people think that giraffe are silent, that they're mute, but they make a lot of different noises, including a roaring sound. And this is just an indicator of how little we know about giraffe. Until recently, we didn't know much about their taxonomy either. This should really be one of the most basic things to know about an animal, shouldn't it? There's still confusion, and we as GCF have been at the forefront of helping to better understand how together with our partners, we have collected and analyzed DNA samples, so skin samples of giraffe from all over Africa. We have collected more than 1,000 samples in the last 20 years. You see a little dart there, it's a dropout dart, and you see a tiny little giraffe skin sample. And that is really, for the geneticists, the holy grail. Next slide. So we are now confident to say that there is 4 different species of giraffe. You see them here, the Maasai, northern, reticulated, and southern giraffe, and a few different subspecies, but I'm not going to go into technical details. So if you want to learn more about that, just have a look at our website, and there you will find a lot of more information on that. And we are still finding out more. We are still learning more, and we are getting more detailed information on giraffe speciation. To the untrained eyes, a giraffe is just a giraffe. They all look the same, don't they? But they don't actually. So they have different coat patterns, they have different numbers of ossicones, their distribution is very different, and there is so much more that actually differs. But in the end, you can only tell the difference between the different species by looking at the genetics. So why do we know that it's 4 different species? And this is a very difficult and rather esoteric concept, but the research has shown that the different species of giraffe split from each other about 1 to 1.5 million years ago. Just to put it into perspective, humans evolved, about 200,000, 300,000 years ago? So that is quite a long time. To compare it with other species, the difference between the different species of giraffe is bigger than the difference between a polar bear and a brown bear. But does it really matter how many species there are? Actually, it does, for their conservation and for their management. Next slide. So how many giraffe are there in Africa in total? And this is a work in progress. Some of you who have been following us for many years see that our numbers have changed recently again, and a few years ago they changed. So it's really an evolving number because we continue to work with our partners to find out more. We add surveys, we compile numbers, we improve methodologies. And our latest number that we actually talking about for the first time tonight is that we now think there is about 122,500 giraffe remaining in Africa. This is actually an increase by almost 10% in the last 5-6 years, which is pretty amazing. And it's great news, but it's also very important to keep in mind that this is largely due to better counting methods. And Michael will talk about that a little bit more. He is one of our chief giraffe counters, so he knows what he's talking about. So still, 122,500 giraffe is still not many. It still is 1 giraffe to every 4 elephants. So the main takeaway message for you from this is that 3 out of the 4 species of giraffe are in serious trouble. Next slide. So GCF is a science-based organization, and all our decisions are based on solid science. As I said, Michael will talk about that in more detail. He's a postdoc that we share with the Smithsonian Institute. So we work with very, very skilled and clever partners. And research is very important. However, we have realized that science alone is not going to save giraffe. It serves a purpose to inform science and to help us make the best possible decisions. But if we really want to save giraffe, we have to act, and we have to act now. So we as GCF see our collaborative efforts with partners as an investment for the future of giraffe, Africa, and its people. Next slide. By conserving giraffe, we are not only securing a future for this iconic species, but we are also protecting the land on which they live for future generations. And the knock-on effect for other species is boundless. So before you hear more from our team, I would like you to watch a short video. I'm just here to set the scene, to introduce everyone, and give you a little bit of an introduction to GCF. So we are really, really excited to be here, and with your support and actions, we feel that we can really make a difference and save giraffe in Africa before it's too late.
Hi, everyone. Seems like we're having some kind of technical difficulties. And remember that Steph is in Africa, so there might be some network issues. We're trying to figure it out. Thanks for your comments on the comment section. I see that you guys are also wondering what's going on, but sounds like we're regaining picture. There she is.
Yeah, I'm going to actually, the video is available on YouTube. So I'm going to post the link on YouTube so you can maybe also just go and watch it in your own time at some stage. Yeah, sorry for the technical problems.
Hey,
yeah. It doesn't look like there's sound. I'm not sure if I see what you see. But yeah, I'm really sorry for that. So some technical challenges. I have posted the video links in the chat though. There's a short one and a long one. So maybe in your own time, have a look at some stage. It's just a little bit of a summary of what GCF is doing and introducing our organization. It looks like I have to now spend some more time with you, which is fantastic. But I don't have more slides for you, but we can just chat a little bit. What I can tell you that one of the talks today was supposed to be given by Dr. Sarah Ferguson, our wildlife veterinarian who is working for us in Uganda. She's at the moment in Chad and was supposed to return to the capital today, but unfortunately her flight was delayed. So instead of her, Julian will be giving her talk. And he will be filling in, but there's at least some photos of her, so it will be great to see her. But she sends her regards and is really disappointed that she couldn't join us today. But as I said, this is the first time we are trying something like this, so there was had to be some technical challenges, but I'm sure we can overcome it, and it's really, really great to see so many of you online. I see it's now 253 people. This is really amazing. And so many names we know, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us and for being interested in giraffe. It's great to see more interest. It really has changed over the last few years. There's become more and more interest in giraffe, which is really encouraging for us and our team, because we really feel that we are making a difference, not only by raising awareness, but by working with partners in now 16 different countries. And we are really creating more interest and more enthusiasm for giraffe conservation. So that is really most important, because, as I said, we don't want to do everything by ourselves. We really, it's very important for us to work closely with partners, either partners who work already locally and support them to just include giraffe into their programs, and or who have expertise in other fields and where we can find synergies in working together, which is really, really exciting. But I think we are almost at the
end. Yeah, there'll be, in 2 minutes, there'll be a link that shows up for everybody. You can tap to go to the next session. Just to fill those 2 minutes, Steph, I have a quick question for you. What's what do you think one of the most common misunderstood things is about giraffes?
Most common misunderstood things. One of the things what I mentioned, that giraffes are mute. A lot of people think they're mute, and a lot of people think they're everywhere. And that is really quite shocking, because, as I said, most people don't really realize that giraffes are in trouble, and they always ask us, why is that? Why don't people know that giraffes are in trouble? And I think it really is that they are such iconic animals, so they are used in so much advertisement, so you see them regularly on TV and everywhere. And in a lot of the bigger game parks, giraffes are quite prominent, so it's great to see them there. But people don't realize that these are few populations and that most of these populations are relatively small. Also, another factor that plays into it is that a lot of safari visitors come to Southern Africa, and in Southern Africa, giraffe are doing really well. So the southern giraffe is now almost 50% of all giraffe in Africa as southern giraffe. So when you come on safari, you actually see them quite often.
Awesome. So we're just getting the next speaker is going live right now. And then as soon it will be Arthur. As soon as they're live, we should be able to clink over.
Cool. And Arthur is our East Africa coordinator. He is based in Nairobi, capital of Kenya, as you will all know. And Arthur is actually from Rwanda, so he brings another nationality into our team.
All right. It looks like